everyone, and welcome back to Liz Sews and my next video in the Disney in the Bedroom project, where I create lingerie inspired by Disney characters of my youth. In previous months, I'd been inspired by Merida and Tiana, so if you're interested in seeing those, I've linked a playlist up in the iCards above. This month, we'll be focusing on Jasmine. Aladdin was definitely one of my favorite Disney movies growing up, and to this day, I can still be found singing Never Had a Friend Like Me in the shower. So sit back and enjoy as I develop my plans for Jasmine. Okay, here is my plan for Jasmine. The first two princesses I did in this series, Merida and Tiana, were a little bit more wearable. I mean, I really enjoyed doing them, and that definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone in terms of stuff that I would normally make. But I decided that when it came to Jasmine, I really wanted to like kick it up a notch and go hardcore into the sort of fantasy aspect of this Disney in the Bedroom project. So for Jasmine, I really pulled out all the stops and decided I was going to do like trim and just everything, because I think that like really works with the aspect of like who Jasmine was. I especially drew a lot of inspiration from the live action costume just because I thought it was so gorgeously and ornately decorated. So even though it's sort of like the colors and harkens back to the original Renaissance Jasmine, the live action Jasmine is really more of the inspiration for this. So I was going to do a long line bra. I'm not sure which pattern I'll pick, probably just one out of my collection. I'm thinking I might use the Ariel cups from Porcelain because they have that sort of like arced design already in them, and then I can cover up the seam lines with the trim. So I'm thinking Ariel cups and then just dropping the frame into like a semi-long line. It won't be a full long line all the way down to the waist, just a little bit longer so I can get that trim in there. And then I want to do this like cool little detail with straps and fabric that like sort of hangs down from a ring at the center front. I'm going to do a garter belt and then just a plain pair of high-waisted knickers underneath the garter belt, since the garter belt's going to have all of the decoration and stuff like that. So let's take a look at the fabrics that I've picked out for this. So the main fabric for the bra is a lingerie satin that I purchased from the TaylorMade shop. I thought this was like just the perfect sort of blue for Jasmine. And I've worked with this lingerie satin before. It's fairly easy to work with. It has a beautiful sheen, as you can see, and I think it looks very regal. So that's going to be sort of the main fabric that the bra is made out of. And then yeah, okay, so main fabric for the bra, and maybe this sort of like stomach detail as well will be made out of this lingerie satin. And then for the pants, I do have some micro lycra here in a really light blue. I think I'm gonna over dye this a little bit darker, but I do want some sort of contrast variation between the garter belt and the pants themselves. So I might do I might do the garter belt out of this lycra as well, and just do 2 different shades of blue. I did some testing. This is a dye that I have in my stash already, and I think it came from Pro Chemical and Dye. I can't remember the name of it, so I'll just pop up the name on the bottom of the screen here. But I was getting a blue that I thought worked pretty well with the Lingerie satin. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this dye, but do like 2 different variant shades of it, so different intensities for the underwear and the garter belt. And then I also picked up this chiffon. I'm not sure where I'll use it. At first I was thinking in the Disney Renaissance version of Jasmine, you know, she has that beautiful sort of like off the shoulder drape. And I was thinking about using the chiffon for that. But when it came in, it's really the wrong type of blue. So I might hold off and use this in Cinderella down the road or something else. So don't be surprised if you don't see the chiffon come up when I'm making it. And then I think that's all the main materials. And then of course we have the fun trim. So let's get this stuff out of the way. So the main trim that's going to be along the bottom of the bra and then the top of the garter belt is this really lovely trim. I got it off of AliExpress. Most of my trims I was getting off of AliExpress just because they have such a wide variety. It is a non-stretch trim, so I did sort of learn from Merida a little bit, but it's non-stretch trim, but it's not as like rigid, so I still should be able to get like a gentle curve in it, unlike I just couldn't do with Merida, and there's no sticky backing on it, so I can sort of steam it into place if I need to. So it's only going to go along the front of the bra and the garter because it's non-stretch, and then I'm going to make sure to leave the back of the garment sort of like stretchy. That way it's still comfortable to wear, but you get this effect from the front, and I'm really in love with this trim. I think it looks stunning. And then the next trim I have to sort of go along the cup seams, it might work on the shoulders and something like that. I have about 4 yards of this one, so I have enough that I can use it in a lot of different places. But again, another sort of like thin golden trim, and this one definitely has a great ability to curve, so I should have no problem getting it along those curved seams of the cups. So that is the second trim that I'm going to be using on her. I also picked up some gems, which I thought were really, really pretty. So they're like an aquamarine color, and then it also has like an iridescent sort of aurora borealis cover on top of it. My initial thought was just I'm going to use some like E6000 and glue it down on the trim like this. They're kind of large, but you know, this is such a fantasy look. Like, it's not something that's really intended to be worn under clothing, so I think it's okay that these are sort of bulky and large, because I think it just adds to the effect. So I don't know where exactly I'm gonna glue them down, if they're gonna be in that part of the trim or maybe at the end or up here. But I have a fair amount of them, so I can sort of play around and decide when it comes time to actually decorating the bra. But I thought they really brought in a nice aspect to it, so I'm excited to use those. In terms of elastics, I just went with turquoise elastics from Bra Maker's Supply. I thought those looked fairly close to the lingerie satin from the tailor-made shop, and you know, not much to say about them, and it's nice that I don't have to dye anything. I already have them made up. So that is turquoise elastic from the Bra Maker's Supply. And then I also picked up some ribbon as well. I'm not sure if I'll use this or not, but I just wanted to have more decoration in case I wanted to add more bells and whistles and things like that. Because even though it looks like highly decorated on the drawing, sometimes when you make it up in true size, everything gets, you know, sort of spaced out. This is obviously not drawn to scale, and so sometimes when I put things together, it doesn't look as ornate as I thought it did on the drawing, so that's why I wanted to have more decorations than less. So I got some ribbon, and then last up I was just going to use some gold hardware. So I do have gold garter clips. These came from the tailor-made shop. And of course, gold rings and sliders. So really excited about all these different materials. I think this is definitely going to be something different than I've ever made before. I've never made something so ornate and fancy and decorated like this. So in terms of videos for Jasmine, I'm thinking 2 more videos in the series. We'll do one focused on the bra. Now the bra itself, the base isn't going to be that interesting. It's going to be, you know, fairly straightforward. So the video is going to focus more on the aspects that make it Jasmine. So adding the details in on the shoulders and the trim and the sort of stomach drape detail. So that's going to be what the video focuses on more than just like basic construction of the bra, because I think that that's covered pretty thoroughly on my channel already. And then I'll do a second video for the bottom, so the garter and the underwear. Again, the underwear is not going to be very fancy. It's just going to be straightforward high-waisted bikini using my standard block. I'm going to put most of the effort into the garter belt because that's going to be the piece that gets, sort of shown off more when worn. So I hope you're excited about Jasmine and want to come along with me as I put her together. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel and hit that notification bell down below so you get notified every time I upload a new video. And I'll see everyone next time. Take care.